Namaste and welcome to this, the 12th of April 2026. Today I will be doing the spread for the art of feminine union, where we look into the feminine energy of the coming month and the masculine energy as well. We already know that April is very much about masculine action, feminine observation, and I'll be looking deeper into what energy today carries, what to expect of the coming week as well. But mainly it's for the masculine and feminine vibrations to see how they're going to be functioning and collaborating the coming month. Today is my dad's 72nd birthday. That's one thing. So today's a celebration in my family. Second, we have the energy of the Hanged Man in the month of the Emperor. Together, they add up to a 16, which is the Tower. So we have a day that could carry a tendency for the masculine to see things from a different angle, to see themselves and their majestic energy from a different perspective. We may talk about an elevation, or more specifically connected to Easter energy, a resurrection in the masculine energy. For that to happen, there is a fall from the tower. There is something that needs to be taken out, taken away, removed, changed, transformed. And when we talk about the energies of going up versus going down, we are looking into inflation, like how are we not connecting with our true essence, our reality, but how are we making ourselves seem bigger? We might talk about an arrogance, an ego construct that has nothing to do with reality, that has to be taken down. That's why we see the man and the woman jumping from the tower in the number 16 card in the Major Arcana. That's a deflation happening. You have to get down from your high horse. You have to come down to earth. You have to find a way to ground yourself and connect with what is. So it's the fall of all illusions. It is the removal of the mirror. So instead of living life, gazing through a mirror, or shrining, as I mentioned last Sunday, we have to look at what is. And when we look at stuff in a mirror, it's reversed, which means that we don't really see what is, but we see the reflection of what we believe is. So even if we all carry a masculine and a feminine energy, this is, I want to say, with an emphasis on the masculine energy, it's the emphasis on the Hanged Man and the Emperor. Each of us are to, how can I put this, own or take ownership of our royal essence, our majestic being. So as a queen or as a king, how do you lead? First of all, yourself. How do you potentially lead others? How do you treat the people around you? How do you treat your home, your house, your family, your friends? And then in connection to the Hanged Man, how does he take ownership of his leadership in the house, in the world, as in the community, in his workplace? And how is the energy that is right now supporting him in changing his perspective on himself and on the world that surrounds him, on leadership, and whatever it was that took him out of reality into a fairy tale or adventure that wasn't real is now being removed, so he may maneuver in reality from this day forth, from the ground up. Okay. So with the feminine connected to the more observing part that I mentioned last Sunday when it comes to what April is about for her, She is also having a shift in perspective on what a man is, what a masculine energy is. She's seeing something different, something she hasn't seen before, something she really has never experienced before. And it's as if it changes her entire world. So we are seeing a beautiful dance happening between the two. Whereas when he changes, she changes with him, but more so in the periphery. So if we place him in the center of a wheel, for instance, when the wheel turns a bit in the middle, the wheel around here turns in a bigger like radius. So there is this center change that changes the entire periphery as well. And it's as if it moves with it, right? A beautiful dance happening. So we're going to be looking into that in the union spread. For this coming week, there is an upliftment happening, a metaphysical transcension out of what is and what was, being lifted out of the heaviness of the dense life, the dense dimension, into a higher dimension, higher perspective, and much, much lighter. And that goes for everyone here. So, and a transcendence that causes complete transition, transformation. So there's definitely a something going on here. Upliftment into another realm that will teach us other things. And we have to be lighter in that. And I've actually craved this lightheartedness. This past week for me has been a lot about going through menopause symptoms of complete exhaustion, to the point where I was about to break down in deep tears. And it was like, I have to get out of this. There's so much toxicity in this realm, in this very dense dimension. I need to play. I need to be uplifted. I need to get out of this space. And all of that connects very much to the physiological being, like me as a physiological being, a hormonal change that creates this density that is not in alignment with me as a being. I want to play. I want to be light. I want to have fun. I want to be free. And all I'm feeling right now is constricted, restricted, kept in a cage that is not of my doing. So how can I get out of that? So I've been very good at meditating. Thursday, I had 2 hours of meditation. I had to do some yoga stretches just to, again, feel my body, but in a good way, and create more space for my heart to exist. You might have felt that too, whether you go through menopause or not. I expect the energy was that for everyone, but going through menopause, we would feel it like extra emphasized. So this coming week feels like now it's going to be lighter. It's going to be better. And we are moving together with the masculine, right? As I showed you before. But it's almost like we have a much bigger space to maneuver in, where the masculine is still pretty, I can't say stuck, because they're not stuck, but they are set in a center. It's almost like the grid is holding them to the place that they're at right now. So they can't really move from that point in the grid, because they're meant to be there. They were put there for a reason. They're meant to act from there on. It's like God placed them there. So there is a feminine lightness, a feminine dance that might make it easier for him. So we can look at it that way. That's how she supports him this coming month. But this coming week, upliftment out of whatever density that kept us in a feeling of being stuck. Lifted out of that space. Transcendence is something that's happening in the physical, right? Where we kind of stretch. We're being stretched, but in a way where we are connected to earth, but also at the same time being called towards heaven, being called towards a higher purpose. And it's interesting. This morning I was already at church. We started at 9, so very early church sermon today. And I knew that God had a message for me today. So at church I was like, okay, my heart is open. Dear God, tell me, what is it that you want me to hear today? And the priest, she talked about when Jesus asked Peter, do you love me? And Peter said yes. And a little while later, Jesus asks Peter again, do you love me? And Peter says, yes, I do. And the third time Jesus asked, he says again, Peter, do you love me? And Peter found it offending that he would ask again. And at the same time, he was so guilt-ridden that he was like, okay, yes, I do love you, but why do you ask a third time? Like, what do you want from me? Because Jesus knew everything, and Peter knew that. And Jesus says, you need to be the shepherd of my people. Follow me. And with all of what she talked about today, all I heard was, follow me. Follow me. Jesus is the image of love. Follow me, love says. Follow me. Where does love take you? What do you love to do? What can you not help but doing? What do you love so much that you need to do it as much as possible? What is that? Do that. Follow your love. I don't want to call it bliss, but it does feel like bliss when we're in it. But to me, that's love. Follow your love. Where is it at? But follow me, when Jesus says that, it is also to follow his example. It is to follow what he did. That he was willing to do anything, even give up his life, to free people from captivity of their own making, of the systems that they have created, on how Satan or the devil can move in under everyone's skin if we are uncertain and when we are in doubt. So it's about eliminating doubt, and it's about filling the gap where we have these wavering tendencies as we don't really know where to go. And it's also when we are impatient. So we need to master patience. And that was also a message for the feminine, right? We need to master the patience and fill out the gap that creates doubt. Jesus still showed us in the Garden of Gethsemane that he doubted. And yet he didn't. He asked to be freed. Like, please, Lord, if you can, take this cup from me. He knew what he had to do, but he was like, do I really have to? So it wasn't that he was not determined to do it. He knew that if God wanted him to do it, he would do it. But if there was any possibility for him not to do it, he would have been happy to be free from that. And we may feel that sometimes, right? It's not everything we want to do, but love will take us there anyways. And when we follow Jesus, when we follow love, and when we listen to life and let it speak, we will enlarge our being and our life. And I already sense that we're not only going to feel that this coming week, we're looking into that feeling for the coming month. And everyone is talking so much about what's my purpose in life? What do I have to do? Well, look at the people around you. Look to people. They are your community. They will show you. They will tell you what they think you're good at, what you're awesome at, and you will feel, or maybe they will even express it, how they feel when you are around them. What do you give them? What is your gift to the world? Expand on that. Follow the love. And what is a shepherd? A shepherd is one who protects the herd, keeps them safe, keeps them together, connected. We all need to protect our network. And we all need to take care of each other. Because without each other, there's actually no life. What was interesting was I was just sitting outside enjoying a few minutes of sun before coming on here. And I was thinking about a woman I met in connection to the degree I'm studying right now. And she studied Danish at university, and she has a master's degree in that. And yet she finds herself, like me, I also have a master's degree from university, and we find ourselves in the same business. And I kept thinking about how alone she always is. When I see her at school, she's walking around alone. When I went to practice with her last summer, we shared a few weeks the same place, and she said that she was going out camping alone. A very, very lonely being in many ways. Maybe of her own choice. I'm not saying that it's not something that she has chosen, but always very alone. Whether she's lonely or not, I don't know, but alone. And for some reason, she showed up in my consciousness right now, just before coming on here, because there's something about that when we are alone, we don't have the reflection ability. We don't have people to reflect through. We don't have people functioning as mirrors to us, and we need them. We need each other. We need that mirror. Like, am I on the right path? Look at your surroundings. Look at your community. Are you? We need to be very alert, awake, conscious to see that, and to see, like, pay attention to the people around us, not just selfishly looking at who am I, but with curiosity go into the other people, figure out who they are, but also be very aware that whatever you interpret is of you. We're being shown that right now. We're being shown how important it is that we connect in this hexagon, that we connect with the people who are closest to us in the hexagon, that we unite with the people we're meant to unite with, and that we're open towards that. We see so many singles these days, so many, because we no longer know how to unite with others. How do we do that? I heard a woman talking about yesterday that being in a relationship takes a village, because you can't expect that one partner to be everything for you. Cannot be your friend and your lover and your therapist and your coach and the intelligent companion and like intellectual companion. You can't have a person who's all that for you. So first, before you go out and find a partner, find a community to be a part of, and then let the partner come in. And maybe that partner is part of the community. Okay. Clear. As you know, I can talk and talk and talk, and I just noticed the time. I've already been on here for 19 minutes. Let's go into the spread and let's see what this coming month has for the masculine feminine energy. As usual, the feminine is a horizontal line of cards, and the masculine is... Okay, we actually get 3 cards. Okay, interesting. The masculine is the vertical line. So from the Journey of Love, we get 3 cards. I want to show you how they landed. these two landed together with this one on top. And this one landed with the back side up and almost on top of the other. How I will interpret that is the focus point is this card, but underneath is this message. And what may cover it all up is this. So I'm going to start with the number 48, Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky. Number 48, Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky. And it says, I see myself in you and you in me. That's actually the line of what I just said about how we reflect ourselves through each other, but it's important that we look into the other to see what it is that we're reflecting. Okay. We may seem to be so different and sometimes yet so similar. Even beyond this, I know deep within that we are one. I can lose myself in your light and receive your light with my body. I can witness the darkness of your shadow and enter into it with my compassion. I can find the divine in our connection, letting go of what I thought I was. I can be broken apart to become as one with you, even if only for a second, and know the divine more intimately than ever before. Our passion leads us to each other, and in each other we find our true selves. This oracle brings you a message of sacred relationship that leads to divine understanding and experience. You're being opened up to sacred relationship, either in your current relationship or one that is on its way to you now, in human relationship and in divine relationship with the heavenly beloved. Know you are worthy of it and keep a light of gentle hope and respect kindling in your heart as you anticipate the union with your beloved. Know that even when it's dark, when it challenges you, there's sacredness unfolding. The love of the divine wants to reach us, not only in our happiness, but also perhaps more so in our darkest hour. Let it reach for you through your relatedness with another, and do not be afraid to be broken and opened, for in that cracking of what you thought you were, you shall begin to know what you are, which is heaven on earth. And the poem says, how rare to be born with the name of love. What challenges await that I must face, or voice to listen to from above, telling what I must embrace. Each day I walk a path unknown, with no regrets for where I've been. Each experience is mine to own. No choices call to live again. How strong I am, I ask myself. The measured test unfolds each day. A blessing of enormous wealth inside the gift will always lay. Beautiful card, really. So this is our focus point this month. Like I said, it is about this dance between the masculine and feminine and how we're being called to follow Jesus, which is to follow Jesus in community, in connectedness with each other. And this really emphasizes it. But there is really nothing greater than to enter union with your partner, with a beloved, because that is exactly where we find the most healing and the most blessings. That's where we are challenged when it comes to love. That's when we realize that love is just not something that's just there. It is something that we do. It is a choice. Just like it is a choice to follow love. Underneath the truth of this beautiful card, we have this hidden message, and it says, the spaces between the words, and it is number 24. And I will read that to you now. The spaces between the words. When we look for guidance, we often look for words that clarify, reassure, and help us find our authentic path through the chaos. Yet, there's also guidance in the spaces between the words, between each letter, between all the happenings in our lives, where there's nothing to be said, where there are no lines to be colored in, where there's just openness. Those are the times when we need to freestyle. We need to do or not do based on what's happening for us right in the moment. Often there's far less to do than we think. Often we don't need to think. There is a space forming around you now. Sometimes, when we sense this subconsciously, we feel exhilarated and excited, anxious and nervous, and not even sure why. There's a sense, perhaps, that we wouldn't mind having a map of this unknown terrain, or perhaps we're happy to wing it and make it up as we go. Either way, there's space to just be. It is a receiver for the divine presence. If you have a lot of space of unknowing around you now or within you, then just know that there is a lot of divine presence to be received. It can't be explained really. It happens between the words, and yet without it, there wouldn't be any words, any guidance at all. The oracle speaks to you. Enter the space and let go, for your time to receive is upon you. Be blessed. And the poem is called Day Birth, and says, the eastern rise of time on newborn wings bursts out across the lifeless crowd and sings its climb to heights unknown, of beauty, warmth, and power upon its throne, to fade again in western sky and only for a moment lie, before it takes its course again, to breathe once more in heart of man. So, the union that is upon you, dear, beautiful, blossoming feminine, you're being told that is about to happen. And here you are told again, it is about to happen. But even in the space in which you wait and have to endure patience, like I said before, there is a learning of being patient, because in the impatience, the devil can enter. All the darkness can enter. And that, like with doubt, creates a gap that is not healthy. Here it says trust. So with this being in focus, that there is a relationship unfolding, and here you're told that there is, and while you're waiting, let God in. In that space that is to be filled, let God enter. And then this card, as I said, was laying on top of this with the backside up. So it is something that we don't really see. It's not something we have focus on, whereas this is what we focus on. And this might be the hidden message underneath. This is what we don't see. But yet, it's almost like it's responding to man of the earth, woman of the sky. And this is across the waters. What's interesting is that we just had number 24, and this is number 23. And it says, you're being called across the waters, as if crossing a bridge of light from one ocean to a far greater one. These waters are your emotional waters, holding your feelings, your attitudes, your expectations, and your fears and doubts, as well as your hopes and dreams. It can seem like such a lot to navigate. Sometimes our waters feel overcrowded, as if swarms of people were descending into the ocean on a sweltering hot day. Hardly finding a space in the water to cool ourselves, we can feel as though there's just no room for faith, trust, peace, and love. There's just too much happening in that water. We yearn for the cool, calm mountain lake, serene, giving, echoing a gentle dispensation of grace. You are being called across the waters, out from an overcrowded sea into the cool spaciousness of the endless lake. So it's time to let go of some mental clutter, some attitudes, some thoughts. Ask for help and bathe yourself in the green and gold rays of healing color. Just imagine them cascading down around you and through you like a waterfall. It's a bit like you're moving to a new neighborhood in a cleaner and more spacious town. It might be a bit unfamiliar at first, but soon enough you'll enjoy the difference. This oracle brings you a message. It is your time to think about something in a different light. Soon you will have a shift in perspective, and the feeling of overwhelm, stress, and just too much going on will be replaced with serene trust and peacefulness. Know that beneath even the most chaotic mind is a place of deep, quiet serenity within. Do whatever helps you dive deep to find it. Dance, take some rest, meditate, do yoga, write, paint, make love, make music. In that quiet serenity within, you'll be leaving unnecessary chaos behind, and you'll be presented with the gift of a new way forward. And the poem says, inhaling the soft scent of promised taste, the nectar moist upon my lips, I savor each sip across my tongue, dwelling in the moment's pleasure, warm and sweet, bathed in the tingling thirst, I find myself wanting you, wanting more. So what we might not see just yet is that the community that is seeking us and that you're seeking yourself is through movement. You have to move. Maybe you just have to get out the door, connect with people. Maybe it's about finding another place to live or a club to join or participate voluntarily in something like Red Cross or whatever it might be. It might also be a trip, an actual journey where you go to meet people, connect with other people, where you can find reflections of yourself that you have never seen before. We're now on to the moon deck. So these 3 cards is actually what the masculine and feminine have in common. Remember that there's always different perspectives on this, and we will see females operating very differently on these energies versus how men do it. So, okay, let's see. We're going to start with the female energy. And usually we get 4 cards, 2 leading up to these Journey of Love cards, and 2 that follows. So let's see. First one. No, it was a bit too much. Let's see. Just a small. Thank you. Okay. And before I read them, I will pull all 4. Okay, 1 card flipped. Thank you. And another card flipped. Perfect. So, for the feminine, we get this beautiful card right here. It is number 4, and it says, the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. Moving into number 35, that says, my home is a sacred space full of beauty, inspiration, and protection. And these are the energies that are leading up to the Journey of Love center cards here. So let's go into this. The first message I got from this card, when it speaks about the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. For instance, if we're anxious, nervous, stressed, we have a superficial breathing. So we only breathe to hear the top of the lungs. We don't feel the lungs. So that's also why this other card said to meditate, to write, to do yoga, something like that. Because there is this energy of, remember your breathing, it determines your life. So are you superficially breathing? Are you superficially leading your life? As in, are you stressed? You're not fully living. If you're nervous or anxious, you're not fully living because you're in some state of fear. And when you are in fear, you're not following me, like Jesus said, which is love. So that's the opposite side of the coin. So here we are being reminded to breathe, to exercise breathing techniques, and to notice and really pay attention to our breath and what directs these breaths that we take. And then to remember that our home is our sanctuary. It's our free space. It's where we are safe, protected, and we don't have to guard ourselves. This is where we are free. And it says at the same time, remember your home. Decorate it. Take care of it. Nurture it. Because it is actually you. On an external level, It's an expression of you, your being, your standards, what you love, and really who you are, right? Then, after we have all of this union energy and the spaces between the words that we're called to unify with the divine, we're called to, if we're not in a relationship, and even if we are, if there are gaps, if there's spaces in between the words, in between where we are now and what we desire, fill it up with God. And maybe sometimes we have to get out of our usual sphere. Maybe it is time to get out of the home a bit and meet other people. Once we have gone through this, like, remember your home is your sanctuary. Remember to breathe, do yoga, do meditation, go for long walks, take some fresh air. Because union is bound, right? Union is abound. And here it says, into card number 16, I'm on the right path and divinely guided. Because the thing is, when we take time to breathe, to exist and not stress, we get to feel what is. We get to feel ourselves. And when you do that, you're always going to be on the right path. And light is always going to be shone upon it. Leading into my inner compass knows the way. I'm on the right path and divinely guided. My inner compass leads the way. This is actually, these two create a full sentence that we need to, just trust. And that's also what this coming month's energy is, this upliftment, this transcendence where we are being stretched, not stretched thin, but stretched longer and wider and broader. It's like growing immensely. I don't think these cards need any more time for me to spend on them. They literally speak for themselves. So moving on to the masculine energy. But there's definitely an emphasis that we women, we know the way. We know exactly what we're doing. We're on the right path. We are learning how to trust our inner compass, our intuition. And we are definitely guided to focus on meditation and our home. Like our home, not only in our physical surroundings, but also our body as our home. It is a sacred space. It is full of beauty and inspiration and protection. So we are guided to look to how we treat our bodies. Also back to the breath. It's very, very important to focus on the breathing. Your body is not going to exist for long without you breathing. So onto the masculine energy, the vertical axis here. And let's see what lies in store for him. Okay. He gets the same as last month. This is interesting. And one more, please. Thank you. Wow. Okay, it's almost like we're shifting places. Because the cards that are coming out now, well, except for these are the two first cards for the masculine. He's being reminded of his lineage, where he comes from. There's this card is number 2, and it says, I celebrate my lineage and honor my ancestors, like honor the history. Because without your history, you would not be where you are right now. Moving into, now is the time to integrate all that I have gathered. So everything you have gathered from your past is now, you're being called to integrate that into physical life, where you bring it to life. Everything you have learned, everything you have gathered of knowledge, of intelligence, of wisdom, of know-how specifically, now put it into motion, manifest it in your life and bring it forth. After we see the journey of love cards here in the center, there's a transformation happening in the man as well, where he reaches for community. So when he can acknowledge where he comes from, the history, how much it matters to him, what that has created within him, and what he now has to offer, he is being called to reach out in a community. For both of these cards are connected to communities. First one is number 7, and it says, my community is supportive, loving, and active in the world. So there's action. There's something about being active in the world. Now put it into action. Put it into motion. And next, into collaboration brings more sweetness into my life and into the world. Active in the world, into the world. There's this stepping forward on the center stage, on the front center stage. Share what you've got. Share everything. Last time the masculine got this card, it was about being in the void. You remember that, being in the void, and the masculine now integrating what God has given, an acknowledgement of what God has given him as a gift. And he's now being directly told that wherever he came from, whoever he encountered in the past, and we can connect it to like the experiences of past life, the experiences of karma, all of that leads to now. So not only in our own, like this lifetime physical past, but also in how we may connect ourselves to past lives. It is time to integrate it into you, into the masculine. It's an integration into the masculine. Okay, an acknowledgement of this is who I am. This is what God wants me to bring into the world, how I'm active in the world, and how I collaborate with other beings in the world. So for the feminine this month, it is very much about her finding peace within her own body, in her own home, beautifying her home and herself, and just knowing that she's on the right path. And then when she trusts her intuition, when she's listening to her intuition and trusts it and follows it, it will always lead her on the right path. And I want to go back to the wheel I started with, the man as the center, as this axis that is like the center, where when he moves, she moves, like that. It's this, but it's like when he's entering the world, she's actually doing the opposite. She's entering her own world. See, that's the yin and yang, right? Last month, it was very much for the female to connect with her community, with her sisters, to network, because she had these the last time. Now it's the masculine that's grounded, that is grounding this energy, where she's now, I'm right here. I am right here. I'm not going anywhere. I know I'm on the right path. And then he manifests, maybe even in her life, because we have this in the center. So she may move in a bigger radius than what he is. It's like he's staying put and she's the one really moving. So that can connect to that you, as the female, might have to be the one who crosses the water. You might have to be the one journeying out into the world or into your community or changing gyms or something that moves you out of where you were. But it will be in connection with how you breathe, how you exist in the world. And then your intuition. Where does it take you? What is the guidance that you're getting? And what's the guidance you're not getting? Don't move on that. But she's moving in a broader, like maybe a so far more distant radius from him. But when he moves, she moves. So know that your partner, whether he's in your life or not, when he makes a little, he doesn't even have to do a lot. It's a small adjustment. Like, I'm not good at math, but when you have a little degree, he turns maybe 1 degree and she moves 10. This is the image I'm getting. I hope you get my saying here. Like, when he doesn't have to make a lot of changes in his life. It's almost like fine adjustment, fine attunement, where she's like, she just moves with it. And she doesn't do anything other than follow her intuition. And beautifying herself and breathing and making her home nice as an expression of who she is. Boom. There it is. A beautiful month awaits. A powerful week where we're definitely talking about how we're divinely being guided to follow Jesus, follow love, follow the love. That is the message for this week, at least. Follow the love. Wherever it takes you, whichever pond or ocean you have to cross or intersection, There's a union waiting for you, and while you're waiting, let God in. Fill God with that space, with that gap in your life. Fill it up with divinity, with the reflection of your own divinity, everything that you are that is so unbelievably perfect for this world right in this moment. Otherwise, you would not be here. If you can just acknowledge that, you've come a long way. You don't have to be something that you're not. Just breathe. Take it easy. Don't stress. Don't fear. And if you wind up in these impatient moments or times of doubt, beautify your home. Breathe. Meditate. Make yourself beautiful and make your home beautiful. Because right now, he's again being shown everything that he has been given and that he's meant to manifest, and also how he's meant to manifest it, being called into community and collaboration. Powerful. I wish you a beautiful week, a beautiful month ahead in this union energy, which is powerful, and a beautiful day. Namaste.